Listen to this. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be riding a 2019 Honda CB1000R. I must say right from the beginning it's a totally different bike compared to my VFR. Okay, so let's talk about this bike. What does it have, this one? So this is a 1000cc 4-in-line engine that produces 140 horsepower and about 104 Newton meters of torque, which is a lot for a 212 kilo bike, and more than enough for a street bike. I don't know why anybody would need 140 horsepower for a bike that you can only ride it in town. But it doesn't have a windscreen, it doesn't offer any wind protection. So yeah, and I've noticed on the motorway when it's a little bit windy, just a little bit, the wind just moves you side to side because the bike is so small and short, and it's not that heavy. Okay, let's talk about the engine. The engine, I must say, is superb. You can't ask anything else from an engine. The acceleration, I would say, is not that brutal, it's quite smooth. The throttle by wire helps a lot, definitely helps a lot. It will stay happily in any gear, it doesn't matter. So now I'm doing 36 miles an hour in 6th gear and I've got 2,500 RPM. You can't do that with a VFR or most of the bikes. And bear in mind, this is 11,000 RPM redline bike, so the torque and the power is up the top, even though it still works perfectly when you got 2,500 RPM in 6th gear. So if I twist the throttle now, you can see her right away, she starts to move. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Honda. Honda makes some incredible bikes, what can I say? So let's see her 3rd gear. Hey, she moves, she really moves. Let's hear the engine a little bit now. And that's the standard exhaust. So it makes a very nice noise, the exhaust. The tone of the exhaust is just perfect. It's not too loud, it's not too quiet, just enough to make yourself heard in traffic, but not give you a headache after you used it. The gearbox is immaculate. I mean, it goes up and down very easy. What else to talk about the bike? The suspension. To be honest with you, I'm very impressed with the suspension. This is a short bike. You're quite limited of what you can do with the suspension because of the weight of the bike and the short wheelbase of the bike. So obviously it's not gonna be that soft and linear like a bigger bike, but still a good suspension. I don't really see a difference between this and the VFR that I've got, even though the VFR has got a longer wheelbase, it's more heavy, still the same. In the front you can adjust the suspension, damping and rebound, but on the back you only have the damping adjustment and that's it, nothing else. It could benefit from another rear shock absorber, I would say, but it's good as it is. Bear in mind, you're gonna use this in town. It's not like a tourer bike where you're gonna sit on it for hours and hours in a row, going up and down the country or whatever. This is mainly aimed at commuting. Now let's talk about the seat itself. This is definitely not a bike for two people. The seat, Honda really has to do something about its seats, the seats they are using on all the bikes. I mean, I know it's a street bike and I know it's meant to be mainly used in town, but still that doesn't mean you have to sit on a plank of wood every day going to work and back or whatever you're doing with the bike. So they should definitely do something about that. The front seat is bad, the passenger seat is even worse and small. I really don't know if you can fit panniers to this bike, but I guess you wouldn't need panniers on this bike because you wouldn't go on long trips with this kind of bike. I think Honda have done a fantastic job with the exhaust note. They've done a fantastic job with the acceleration and the throttle by wire and everything. So I would say I have to say good job Honda for that. Fuel consumption, bad. It takes as much petrol as my VFR. The VFR has got 30 horsepower extra, it's got 250cc extra, it's got 60 kilos extra, and both of them take the same amount of petrol per 100 kilometers. So I've done yesterday, I went to work and back, and that is for me 120 kilometers, and I just filled it up 7.9 liters. That's 8 liters, so that would come down to about 6.5 to 7 liters per 100 kilometers. The dash is saying 45 mpg, but I don't really buy that. The dash itself, I didn't really get through the functions too much to see exactly what the bike has got, but annoying thing, it doesn't have a fuel range. Oh, nice. It doesn't have a fuel range, so you don't know what range you've got left. The most annoying thing about bikes, when you don't have a how is that called, a thermometer for the outside temperature. For some whatever reason, Honda decided that it's good to put a thermometer for the engine coolant, and it shows you 77, 78, 79 degrees centigrade. But why wouldn't you put one for the outside temperature? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a bike, you are exposed to the weather, so it would be nice to know the outside temperature. Unfortunately, we won't be able to push her too much because there's just a lot of gravel and sand on the road, which I don't really like. This was about 50% of the gas. So my advice is, if you're buying, depends what you're buying a bike for. If you want to commute to work and you live in the city or just outside the city, and you are 1.8 meters tall, this is the perfect bike for you. Well, I would say 140 horsepower, that's a bit too much for a street bike. If you want to do some long runs, or if you are doing some long runs from time to time, definitely this is not the bike for you. You are purely exposed to the weather. There's nothing between you and the wind, and you don't have any, it doesn't offer no protection whatsoever. If you're planning to do longer trips and so on, definitely this is not the bike for you. Think about something else. Well, let's come back to the dash. Yeah, so it doesn't show the range left. It shows the fuel consumption, the average fuel consumption, and it shows the instant fuel consumption, and that's it, nothing else. Then you have those three things over there. So you go at the top, select with a mode, and then press the select buttons, and you have sport, user, rain, and standard. Then on those ones you have these settings, those three circles. The first one at the top, that's the traction. So now it's got three settings, the traction. Now it's on setting 2, the middle one. Then next to it you have EB, which I've got no idea what it is, and again it's got three settings and it's in the middle. And then underneath you have P, which is again, it's got three settings and it's in the middle now. So standard, everything is in the middle. P, I would say that P might be that's the power, I don't know. But EB, I've got no idea. I don't know if it's engine braking, so if you could comment below the video, it would be nice, and let me know what that is. So what happened was, why do I have this bike? Last week I had an accident with my bike. Unfortunately, I don't have a video of it because my camera wasn't working. I was approaching a set of traffic lights, and I was like 50 meters away from the traffic lights, and there were cars stopped already, and I was filtering between cars. I was doing less than 10 miles an hour, and on the second lane there was a guy with a van, and he didn't signal, didn't check the mirror, and just swerved left exactly when my bike started passing his rear wheel. Obviously I didn't get a chance to brake or swerve or get out of the way or anything, so it just knocked the bike down. I didn't fall down, just the bike itself. I phoned the insurance company, told them what happened, because the guy wouldn't admit his fault. He said I was coming very fast. He came out of the car and he was like, that guy, why are you coming fast? Why are you coming fast? But I said I wasn't coming fast, that's why I didn't fail. If I would have come a bit faster, probably I would have fell, but because I was riding so slow, that's why I didn't fall off the bike. No, you came very fast, and because I could hear you, he said. So you heard me, you didn't saw me, you just heard me, and you still didn't care. You just swerved. And I phoned the insurance company, I told them what happened, and they came and took my bike to assess it, and they gave me this one, this beauty, and she rides very beautiful. 100% a pleasure to ride her. London, I mean, whoa, this bike it's in her element. This is what this bike was designed for. Town, city, traffic, loads of cars, bicycles, scooters everywhere. What else is nice about, I mean, everything is nice. The quality, the build quality is nice. Another thing I've been impressed about this bike, I had the NC which I crashed last year, and I had an LED headlight which was crap, like proper crap. And now I've got this one which again has got an LED headlight, but this is like the proper stuff. Just listen to that engine, that's pure joy. That's just amazing how this bike can move. Look at her. Yeah, very nice. This one is got 16 point something liters, I think 16.4 liters. Why they haven't done it 18? I mean, there was a lot of space to do it. Nobody likes to stop at a petrol station that often. Listen to the engine, that was 5k. More functions onto the dashboard. Okay. And now we'll try to head back home. We've made a short video. We saw what the bike, a little bit what the bike can do, what's all about. I mean, this is just to give you guys a little bit of input.